Well, to the traveling Wilbury, I'm surprised you hadn't brought your gang to sing along with you as you're doing your road travels to help that special person in your life, my friend. How you doing, Rev? 9:23 in the morning, West Coast time. It is the 7th of May, 2024. I just stopped your video for a short time. I know you were trying to get into the other pastors and their situations. I know Jesus had an issue concerning about the Pharisees and their teachings growing up in the temples and trying to learn from them what the Bible was supposed to be teaching him left and right, at least the Torah. And then he had to correct the Pharisees on a few or maybe many inaccuracies. Having been taught by a kid in the temples must have irritated them, impressed and irritated them at the same time. How dare this kid question the wisdom of them? Well, yeah, they do. They were. And Jesus put them on the spot. Didn't like it. Had a bad taste in their mouth. Especially when he grew up to an older person and discovered that he had knew a lot more than what they realized. And once they realized he was who he claimed he was, how much did they resent him even further? But I think somewhere in there he knew there may have been one or two good people out there preaching the word, but they still needed to get a reminder of the major important things. That's why I always like to be happy attitudes. There were certain reverends and pastors that I grew to respect, both in television and in real life. A long time ago, my brother and I were baptized, christened, and commemorated into the United Church of North Hollywood, United Methodist Church of North Hollywood. And my mother was trying to find a place for my brother and I to be raised under because she felt we needed that spiritual connection. She was shopping around when we got into San Fernando Valley on 68. And she found a few places we didn't exactly like or hit with. I mean, um, being a Baptist wasn't, even though it was the closest church to us during that time. We're living in the North Hollywood and San Fernando Valley along a street called Van Owen, sandwiched between Woodman and Coldwater Canyon. Not many churches in that area. I mean, for a few Sundays, we'd listen, but then it was, I don't know, it's fire and brimstone. It scared the crap out of us. It didn't work. So we had to go shopping around. Well, we found a place, and we actually heard about a place out in North Hollywood, along Tahunga, right by the 170 freeway, Hollywood. And an old brick building that was there for, looked like it was centuries. Early 1900s it was built. Survived the 71 earthquake. It was showing us a test of time and a testament in that too. Old, but you felt ancient in there. You felt some kind of ancient wisdom in those halls. I miss it. I really do. I don't know. Something about the place made you feel in love with the place. Sometimes the people, not people, that people. A gentleman named Dr. Long had some sermons. I barely remember what the hell they were, but I remember he was talking about. First portion of the church was sitting there listening, sang a tune or two, and then gather up for the children, and here comes the assistant pastor. And then they take you over to Bible school. Small rooms, very small rooms. all about maybe about 10 if you're lucky, maybe more. I only had about 10 or 15 kids in there anyway. And a few of the seniors had their own place to hang out. If you're a junior or a senior, they had one particular place for you just to hang out there while the adults go to or they could just stay in the pews and listen. But no, I listened to the Bible and heard about it, and they kept talking about it, and they kept talking about it. Sometimes it was boring as hell. But they tried to make it interesting for the kids to understand. Because while they were getting sermons concerning about what adults would listen to, we kids who singing and just singing and learning and stuff, they tried to make it fun in church school. Till I got old enough where we didn't have to sit in those rooms. We could actually sit out there with our parents. We had a new minister and assistant minister. I miss Dr. Long. I don't know why, but I miss Dr. Long. God rest his soul. God bless his soul. And then there was Dr. John Nagel. It bored the living crap out of you, but he was a wonderful guy to talk to anyway. And then there was the energetic assistant minister, Bob Hillman. Guy from New Zealand or Australia, somewhere in there. Aboriginal, I think. Didn't care. He had an energy that you would live under. As a kid, I thought, wow, who is this guy? When he do some of the sermons for Dr. Nagel, you can see him being animated. He was a living legend of sorts. I mean, he was plugged into God's energy network, and he had energy coming out of his mouth. He had energy coming out of his movements. It's no wonder we all liked him. Nagel was calm. Sometimes his voice was so monotone at times, he'd put you to sleep, especially if you're a kid. But the adults would listen to him. But Hillman, God bless his soul, his family would visit ours. He would visit families throughout the week if they need any help or any spiritual advisement, or just to say, "Hi, can I bring my family in? Come on in, Rev." 2 or 3 girls would come in, and here comes his lovely wife, and here comes Bob Hillman, and it's like, oh boy. And at the time, when I was going through the christening at the point, Mom was starting to take care of 2 elderly ladies, a grandmother and a great aunt. God bless the soul. God rest the soul. A lot of videos I've done about my family on this one here. But he also knew about my near death, actually my death experience, 3 times up and 3 times back. Yeah, I consider myself dead. 4 years old, trying to do open heart surgery. Trying to take care of some mitral valves that ticked off the surgery team. They didn't want to kill me again, I guess. They were too damn afraid. So was I. But I really couldn't explain the near-death experience to the Reverend all the time. We talked about it. We talked about what he thought. My dog's... I'll check on my dog. Sorry about that. Sometimes the dogs sound similar to each other. Anyway, we would try to talk about it. He wanted to be comfortable with the concept of Jesus. Okay, fine. I understand about the story of Jesus. But getting to know a spiritual entity like that, there had to be some personal experiences in there. So, while the ladies were alive and while they were still at the church to a point, we actually had more changeover of pastors. Kind of hard to deal with some of the changes. Some actually stick in your head. Anyway, I bet that they're all up in heaven still talking, still chatting away. And they were chatting away when they were alive, and they're chatting away now. As for televangelists, here we go into that particular field. If my grandmother wasn't able to make it to the church, she'd watch her show of Our Power with Robert H. Schiller. Stories about this guy. Started his own ministry out in a drive-in theater in Orange County. Orange groves around. And he'd have, on Sunday mornings, he'd be preaching on top of a snack bar. People would listen to him. He was a dynamic guy, according to the stories. And there was enough donations from the public and his congregation. He built up the church, physical church property. I mean, he bought up the drive-in, used that area itself. This was close to freeway. This was close to the freeway. And in time, he had a church worthy to have about 300 people inside, I think, or less. But he would also have a parking lot that would be able to see him as well, because you would have it where the windows would open up and you would see him smiling on the terrace. They would listen to him on their radios. He would do a broadcast on one of the local channels, one of the independent channels. My grandmother would catch him like crazy. It's not until about late 70s, early 80s, he started his Crystal Cathedral mission. He built this massive edifice that could hold hundreds. He'd have a televised services going on. Hell, he'd give out gimcracks and programs of that he's already talked about in his service, prayers and his messages. Put out the books left and right. Who is becoming worldwide fame on this guy? You know, things rise, things fall. But during those times when he was trying to rise up, people were listening to him and always reading his material. Norman Vincent Peale was a mentor of his. Power of Positive Thinking. That's why his books were so popular back in the 70s and 80s and almost 90s. He was building his empire upon that one. Of course, there was the other charlatans during those days. I saw him and heard him. Tammy Faye and Jimmy Baker. Oh my God, Jim Baker actually. And where the hell was they? Falwell. God bless it. And Oral Roberts. Oh, no. We're sitting at the Church of Tomorrow where you had this one guy out somewhere out in Southern California preaching about the end of the world. There was also another local pastor and a local independent station still talking to people left and right. But he was actually talking a good game. He just wasn't getting the international stuff. It just his local people left and right on that one. Copeland? Shit. I listened to this stuff and I damn near threw up. I don't know. Something about these charlatans, especially when you have charlatans saying, please, give me money. God's going to take me to heaven unless you give me more money. Please, you must do that. You watching this video right now. You must do this. You must do this. As I reach for the camera on my laptop here. Hang on a second. I got to get more dramatic on this one here. You must do this. I am a preacher myself. I am preaching the gospel. What am I preaching about? I am preaching. Oh, I'll tell you about the preaching I'm doing at this point over here. I'm not doing a fine preaching at this point over here. But I need the money. I need the money. I need the money. Don't you understand? I have material needs that I will have. You'll give it to me. Yes? It's like seeing that intensity happening. It scares the crap out of me every time I keep seeing these guys doing it on the internet, let alone on the other streaming channels. My God. And then you got Joel Osteen, I think there's another guy out there. Mega churches, they put themselves into mega churches. It's one thing Oral Foundation was out there. Oh, well, I don't know about him. He just. Oral Roberts. There's another guy who was conservative Christian on this one. I didn't know what the hell his racket was, but he made himself a university. Oral Roberts University. How to. I don't know. It still scares the hell out of me to this day. I think about second or third generation running that school of thought and everything else going on. All these guys out there running like crazy. We want money. We want money. I often did a comedy skit to myself. Just, I'm thinking about Sam Green Moonshine. Imagine this: marry the character of Kilroy, the guy with the face and the nose over the brick wall, and then put a hat with a dollar sign on it. Grand Game Moonshine. I believe in the power of the money. I believe in the power of the currency. I believe in this money over here that you're going to be giving over to me because I'm telling you to do so. I'm Sam Greed Moonshine. That's Sam G, not Greed. Yeah. But tell me, I got plenty of gold in my teeth? Not really. I heard that disparaging Congressperson. No, not a Congress. You're supposed to be in there. What were some pews again they called them? Yeah. That's what they call them, huh? Well, anyway, I want the money anyway, because I worship the almighty dollar. I want it all. I want it all. You will give it to me, yes? Oh my God, this kind of skit came up. That's terrifying. And yet I do this damn thing in a Kilroy drawing a long time ago. It amused me a long time ago, but these days it scares the hell out of me. Oh, God bless it. If that wasn't bad enough, Reverend? Holy, oh no. Then you got the real con artists coming out there, believing. Yeah, we're opening a Pandora's box on this one here. Should we keep that one shut? Yeah. But believing in other grifters out there, or more angered, more hatred, more vilified, and they don't care. They're sucked into it so damn badly, it's not even funny. It terrifies me, it scares me to see these people. I hear about the vipers and snakes going through my head on this one. I got Godspell of the movie and the musical going through the head on this one. Blind Fools was a song on that one. My brother would be watching Godspell like crazy. He'd also be watching Jesus Christ Superstar during Easter time or before and after Easter time. We'd be listening to it. There are a few songs I would sing on that one. You really don't want to hear me sing. Where my brother was out of tune, and so was I, but we sang anyway. But I always liked that part concerning about when Jesus, nearly at the end, coming up towards the crucifixion, he's seeing King Herod. King Herod. Pontius Pilate. And the lead-in music was just. And I say, who is this broken man cluttering up my hallway? Who is this fortunate? That guy was there, someone Christ, King of the Jews. You're Jesus Christ. I'm really quite surprised. You look so small. Not a king at all. We all know that you are news, but are you king of the Jews? And I think Neely was playing Jesus at the time. He goes, "Not your words, not mine." And then the tirade goes, "What do you mean by that? That's not an answer. You're deep in trouble, friend. Someone king of the Jews. I guess someone in your state be so cool about his fate. An amazing thing the silent king, since you come from Galilee, you need not come to me, your Herod's race, your Herod's case. A lot better when they sang it anyway. Oh, and my brother and I, we've been watching King Herod, the actors they would have in there back in the 70s doing this rock opera. And the guy playing King Herod, man, my brother and I were cracking up even to the day before he passed away. I mean, we watched it. It always put a smile on his face because it's not the way he was singing, well, partially, but dance moves. And a disgusting look on the character of Jesus' face. I said something about in the comment lines concerning about triggers, and I said something about family. Your particular title was riches. It's the amount of stuffed animals I have. Some of them actually have representation. Can I show you? I got a short leash on my cord here, so forgive me for this one. Little Rega, a dog I used to have as a kid. White Samoyed dog, show dog. Scared of newcomers until she got used to me and David as kids. I go to Antelope Valley College. Yeah, but two of these guys, but it's still representative of me going to school. An air show for the LAPD bear. I liked cruising of cats. We got a Snoopy in here because Snoopy represents the space program. I've got a dog in here from the Jethawks, Lancaster Jethawks, a minor league baseball team that disbanded thanks to Major League Baseball. The big gorilla buried in the back, my brother. He'd do a gorilla imitation. He'd pull a shirt over his head when he was a lot younger and dance around like a damn gorilla with his arms dangling around like crazy. There. She is close to little girl. Speaking of which, she's my own dog is wondering what's going on. Hold on a second, Rev. What's going on, Ma? She must be obeyed. Say hi to the Rev. All right. I'll put you down. She's wondering when I'm going back into the bedroom with her. The older she's getting, the more her senility, or not senility, but our dementia's going at this point. So yeah, it's kind of hard to deal with that one. But I was going to show you this one doll. Get up here. Have to make sure I'm not going to step on my own dog. Okay. Yeah, well, these things will happen. We'll move the fur balls and the lighting. We'll move the fur balls in the lighting. But this, a likeness. They're representations. They're representations of things, of memories, of values, of things that matter more to me. I could put up all the damn certificates or paperwork on their walls. I could put up more stuffed animals. And I probably will hold on a few of these things for a little longer, even after a real one has passed. Or, not today. This I'll keep holding on to like crazy. It's not the toys, it's the memories. Rev, you've seen the camera angles I do. Now, I've already posted a few pictures of what my own office looks like. And you've noticed that I keep the camera angle on a constant side. You want to know what I valued? I missed them. Up on the upper shelf. I have to. I have to. You'll forgive me, Rev. Something I hadn't shown as much out there, but still requires to be seen. No. Oh, I need to replace the batteries on this thing. Okay. About 25 years ago, my brother and I had gotten this from our cousins. They're grown. They've got kids of their own. They're all scattered. They hadn't talked to me in a hell of a long while. Hell, they've never talked to me. But Raymond, I had. Growing up as a kid, all they heard was stories about me and my big brother, Dave. Got sick and tired of it. He and his brother, Chris. Chris worked, well, I don't know if he's retired yet, but he worked for the city of San Diego. Let's just put it that way. He's a behavioral health therapist. When it comes down for family therapy, he's lousy at it. Yeah, it's important. You'll see this video whenever you can, Rev. I'm going to move these things. They're emergency lighting. I prefer the red ones. Blues are alright for short intense, but when it comes down for long intensity, it's the reds that you really need. I have to, Rev. I have to. Sorry, Ma. Disturbing your crypt for right now for a bit. I've got animals that had passed away. Specialty boxes that the ashes were supposed to be put into. A couple of gimcrack boxes that mattered to me and my mother and my brother. But that would be Mama, and that would be Big Brother. Big Brother is resting in a first aid box that the military would use. My brother was military. He was a SEAL. I got a flag right behind him. My mama had the biggest prominence with a artificial rose laying on top of her. We had it sealed with tape. What do I value? I valued family. I valued service to the family. I valued being a caregiver. I valued being part of a family that actually cared. And I'm not just talking about bloodline either. I had special friends at one time that lasted for decades, but because of circumstances happening with their own family members, primarily with their own mother passing away, it changed the dynamics between me and my family, and we split apart. And that still hurts to this day. It still hurts to this day. When you lose that level, when you lose that most valuable thing. It kept reminding me of a comedy that Billy Crystal and Jack Palance did called City Slicker. And Palance's character would do this one thing to Billy Crystal. Just one thing. Once you know it, nothing else doesn't matter. He'd said something worse, but you know. And Crystal found that one thing that mattered the most. I lost it. In here, I know they're alive upstairs, but on mortal earth, that's why I wrote what I did. Because when I start talking about this stuff, I know I get the emotional tsunami buildup going on. They don't know what true treasures are. They'll talk about them. They won't know. I constantly show that case being the way it is because it matters a great deal to me. It matters a great deal to me. They can get rid of all the things in this place of mine. I could do that to myself. Even get rid of her, the stuffed animal. But the one thing that's really hurting hard, once I lose my dog, to me that was the only last true family member. Everybody else is just echoes. That's what kills me. Sometimes in my videos I call myself a zombie. Emotionally deprived and sleep screwed up. No. I'm sleep deprived and emotionally screwed up. That's what I am, and I don't value much on things, even though I surround myself with the junk. Memories. Memories are also in pictures, but they're also buried in the heart. They're buried in the soul. I could have all the damn stuff bury me alive in a grave. It wouldn't bring that much warmth. It wouldn't bring me much life. And it wouldn't ease the pain of bringing the afterlife with. Once you lose the most important, precious thing in your life. I can hear the pastors just jacking it up what they want. And every other Tom, Dick, and whatever the hell they are. They don't know. I know. I would know a griever because my soul would know a griever. My soul would know those hurt. We can throw out as much facade and energy at the world. It's just only a facade. Broken timbers and support in the back. Cracking. Rotting. The Hollywood veneer gets redecorated so many times, but it's the structural support that you need to keep up the pretense, the charade. Yeah. Anyway,